Hello and welcome to the Trinity Music Podcast. On today's episode we have S4 pupil Robbie Greer. How are you, Robbie?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you?
Good, yeah. It's a pleasure to speak to you. It's been a wee while since I've last spoken to you properly.
About 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, because you dropped music at the end of this too, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't want to. The reason why I lost music was because when I was picking my subjects, I didn't know music and computing were linked.
Yeah, so, what, like as a faculty, like ICT and music? All right,
yeah.
Okay.
So, and I really wanted to do game development and computing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to drop either computing and music, but my career choice that I'm going for was in computing, so I had no choice but to drop music. But don't worry, I'm crashing it next year.
Are you going to come back?
Yeah.
Going to make a comeback? Good. Aye. Well, obviously it's really good that you still kept an interest in the subject even though you've not taken it. And I know obviously that when you told me your songs, like, wow, this guy must really know about music, because the songs you've picked are really like indie sort of music taste, and that they're not mainstream at all. So I'm really looking forward to chatting about your tunes. Elsewhere in school, is everything going all right?
Yeah.
Were the prelims good before?
It's about 50-50.
50-50, a mixed bag?
Yeah.
Good, that's not too bad at all. And you only have a few weeks left, really, before the Easter holidays. So then it's after that study leave. Are you doing mainly Nat 5s this year as well? Or are you like a mix of stuff?
Yeah, it's a mix of stuff. I believe maths and French I'll be doing Nat 4 in, but the rest I'm hopefully doing Nat 5 in.
Yeah,
Physics. Cool. Physics I don't actually know, but from what it looks like I'm doing Nat 5.
Good.
So
excellent. Yeah, so then obviously you're back after these holidays a couple of weeks ago, then you're on study leave. And I know obviously from your older brother, you probably know. Have you got another older brother as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're sure you know how that process involves as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, music to a lot of people is good when you're studying as well. Do you listen to music when you study?
Yes and no. Sometimes I even stick on The Office, the US version, because it's just perfect satire. So
just like as in just in the background,
yeah.
That's a good TV show, actually. Excellent. Right, so what we're going to do is talk through your 3 songs. We'll talk a wee bit usual stuff about like why you like the music and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Interestingly, I was talking about studying there. This is music that I would use to study to a lot of the time when I was at school, like this type of music. So what are you going to talk about today? What's your 3 songs?
Civilian by Wye Oak, Perfect Darkness and Warm Shadow by Fink. 2 of them are by the same artist.
Yeah, so you've gone for 2 by the same artist, same as what Luke did last episode. Good. Mm-hmm. And they're really, really cool music. Something that people will put on and go, wow, that's like something that I can listen to, but it's quite unique, you know. So we'll start with the Fink one then. So in case people didn't know, Fink is he's a singer and songwriter, isn't he? And he's like a guitarist.
Yeah, it's a small group of guys just making music, I suppose.
Yeah.
The description is.
And I think the lead guy is called Finn. Is his name Finn or something like that? Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. I haven't really looked into that one, but
and I think he started out doing DJing and making electronic music, and then I think he sort of thought, I'm going to move into a different type of music, and the music he now creates is obviously the song that you've chosen. Yeah. So, what one do you want to do first? Would do Warm Shadow or Perfect Darkness?
I'll go with Perfect Darkness first, because Perfect Darkness is like it sounds like it'd be something like death metal, but.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you came to me and said, "Can I do Perfect Darkness by Fink?" I was like, "Oh, right, is this?" Just assumed it was a metal song, but it's not, is it? No. So tell us a wee bit about what sort of type of music it is.
It's like a hopeful song, I guess the word is. It's not like I said, heavy metal, but it's not like too calm. It's like in the middle, perfect. It's like in that grey area where it's like somewhat like upbeat, but also not too like energetic.
Yeah, it's got a really nice kind of calm vibe to it, but like you say, it's still got a kind of beat, so you can still clap along with it. But it's really chill. I like the bit like the kind of acoustic guitar playing really cool. Like it just builds up and builds up.
That's my favourite part, because the guitar is like such a really good instrument for really calm music. I really want to learn how to play it again.
But I remember back in the day in 2G. Remember 2G?
Yeah.
When you used to play the ukulele in class.
Yeah.
Was that? How did you get into the ukulele back in the day?
Funny story, actually. So the reason why I picked the ukulele instead of the guitar was because I had this fear in S1 with the guitar, because I believe it was my right thumb. I don't know what I did, but I was strumming, I believe, the top string, and it cut a bit of my skin off at the top of my thumb.
Right.
So
Okay,
I had the fear that might happen again. So I decided to pick the ukulele because it was it was similar to the guitar.
Fun size instrument. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very small, but it was like exact same as like the guitar. And I like the higher pitch of it a lot as well. Obviously, you can tune a guitar to be like that as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like the ukulele is just like perfect in terms of like tune, I guess the word is.
It's a good size instrument when you are an S1 because obviously you're only like 12 years old or so. It's hard to move your fingers along the full fret. But usually most people then go into the guitar later, maybe is once you've tried a bit of ukulele. You don't play the guitar, do you?
No, that's my brother.
That surprises me. Yeah, so Matthew's in my higher class. He's very good at the guitar. I thought he might have like. He's not helped you in any way learn the guitar? No.
I picked it up a few times and strummed it a wee bit. He hasn't really done anything. I don't think he's really acknowledged that I've even picked it up, to be honest.
Right, okay. Because there must be a lot of musical talent in your family. Because your younger sister, have you got an older brother older than Matthew?
Yes.
Did he do music at school as well?
I actually have no idea if he did music.
That was before I was here as well. But your younger sister is in my class and she's really good at music as well. So you must have some genetic ability in your family. Is music a big thing at home? Like, do your folks play an instrument or how does it work?
For my sister, she got into music because of TikTok, surprisingly enough.
Uh-huh.
I was a bit disappointed by that one. But I gave her my keyboard that I had because I'm not going to lie, I kind of neglected it for a wee bit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I was like, well, Emma's learning how to do music. She's wanting to learn how to play the piano. So I gave her my keyboard and she's doing really well.
Yeah, she is really talented for someone of her age. Like, she can play loads of stuff on it.
I wasn't even good at that level.
I think when you start young, like, if you've got an interest in it when you're 11, you can get so good so quick because there's less... Like, well, you've got to worry about Nat 5, this. But when you're in S1, you've got time to maybe pursue a hobby a bit more. So that's definitely the age to start. But I'm sure if you're crashing it next year, then you could get the chance maybe to come back into things and reignite your passion. Because obviously, music is a big passion of yours from what I can see from what we've got written down.
Music and game development especially a big passion because they both like intertwine with each other.
They do, don't they? And
I've been making an animated series recently and I've been wanting to make my own music instead of just using those songs that I've mentioned will be in it as well.
How is that work in the games development class in school?
No, that's just something I've
a
done
hobby outside of school?
A pure passion project.
How do you do that then? How does what software do you have to use to develop a game?
I use an engine called the Unreal Engine. A lot of people have probably heard of that. A lot of big games are made on it, including Fortnite.
Really? Oh, yeah. Wow. And is that free to use?
Yeah, it's free to use.
Yeah, and you can use that to create a game. So talk us through your game. What does it involve?
It's me and Zingwa. You remember Zingwa from S2 as
Another one that should have taken music back in the day who was really good.
I'm surprised he didn't take music.
He was brilliant.
Honestly, he made me look bad.
He's very talented. I'll maybe try and track him down as a part of the sort of recruitment process that we do here.
Yeah, we'll indoctrinate him into music.
So is it like are you both working... So do you both work on that like at the weekend or after school? You sort of meet up and...
We haven't actually touched it in a while, but when we were working on it, we were getting really far in. We're halfway through the project already. I was doing the main design and development, and Zingwa was doing the 3D modelling.
Cool.
There's not really much I can say about it now. There's nothing really to go off of besides from the fact that it's a horror game.
And have you to create the characters and the storyline and everything and the gameplay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got to do all of that, and it's very stressful. But
I can imagine. How does that then become a thing that someone else could play? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's a very difficult process. You need to make sure that you can publish it, make sure that you have rights to many of the things, so things are original, things aren't copyrighted. It's a long process, but it's really...
I can imagine it's really fun though. Like, I get so into that type of thing. Yeah.
Especially the animation side. The animation side's probably my favourite part of any development.
Sit for hours. That's the kind of thing you'd stay up all night doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, the curtains closed over, just sitting going, I'm going to make this game really good. Yeah. And you know how you're saying there how you're using the music in it?
Yes.
Would you... See, if you were to use a Fink song, would that need to be like it goes through copyright and everything?
If I didn't publish the game, I could use that if I wanted to. But if I was publishing it for like commercial use and was making money off of it, I would either have to use a different song or get the rights to that song.
Yeah.
But if I don't have the rights to that song, then my game could probably be taken down, especially like videos and stuff. It's a thing that happens on YouTube all the time.
I was going to say that happens to YouTubers loads. Like, saying this, if we wanted to say, and this is Robbie's song now, and I played that Fink song through, like, edit it into the video.
Yeah.
We didn't need the rights from them to actually publish the video.
I believe you can put like at least 15 seconds in.
A wee short snippet.
Yeah, just a tiny snippet in. So
It's interesting. People never think about these sort of things, do they? Like how it all goes.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool that you're making a video game. That's amazing. And so are you thinking about maybe creating your own music for it to avoid some of the problems of that?
Yeah, and for many other projects that I've been working on that aren't just game related.
What are these to do? Is it to do with some kind of thing like software design? And yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on an animated series based on my portfolio piece in English.
Wow.
It's been pretty difficult getting everything right, but
What's it to do with then? The portfolio piece?
it's similar to the game Last of Us.
Yeah, I know that.
Very,
Yeah.
It's very like that. It's even got a similar storyline. I'm a bit of a plagiarist, honestly.
Just ripping off other people's work.
Yeah.
I love how into that sort of thing. So have you always had a good imagination from a young age, and it's
Yeah.
always something that's inspired you?
I remember in P7, I don't know if a lot of people would remember this, but I remember in P7, I was going around asking people, it was P6, sorry. In P6, I would go around asking people if they wanted to be in a comic strip I was making, just like out of pure fun. They were horrible. I'm not going to lie.
Do you base a lot of your ideas off people you know, like in real life? Yeah,
the
a
main
lot of your
character for my
characters
animated series is Sean.
based off his personality and stuff.
It's
like
based
that.
off of him, yeah.
That's what a lot of creative people do. That like songwriters do that as well, and they use people that they know to tell stories. That's so cool.
Speaking of the song, we should probably get talking
I
about
was going to
that.
say, we've ended up in a massive rabbit hole. This is the worst I've ever been about this sort of thing. That is blowing my mind. I had no idea. See, because you don't do music, I had no idea that you do this sort of thing. That's mad. Right, so back to this song. What was it called again? Warm Shadow. So this came out in 2013, right? You've been out for a while. Do you remember the first time you encountered this song? When you heard it?
The Walking Dead,
Walking Dead,
especially.
yeah.
When
Mega famous TV show, that one, yeah.
I was sad that it ended. When I heard that it ended, I was like, no, I'm doing a marathon of this show.
Just
And
gonna
that's
binge watch it again.
that's when I heard Civilian, which we'll talk about later as well,
Yeah.
and Warm Shadow, and I was like, these are really good songs, and I've never heard them before
Yeah.
until now. And I looked it up because I was in the car and I heard the exact same song, Warm Shadow, and I was like, what's the name of that song? And then my dad told me it was called Warm Shadow.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, okay. Went home when I was about to go to bed. I was like, right, I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah.
And I went down a rabbit hole like earlier.
Like we've just done.
Yeah, went down a whole rabbit hole of listening to Fink's music and just overall music, because usually when I listen to music, it is not like pop music and stuff like that. It's mainly game soundtracks I listen to, because they're like The Last of Us, for example. That game's got an amazing soundtrack, and that was all I listened to then. But when I heard those two songs, I was like, I really like the sound of these songs, because they're not like insanely energetic, but they're not really depressing at the same time.
They hit that perfect sweet spot of music. It calms you down, but it still is it's not boring. You know what I mean? It's like there's definitely there's a cut-off point before music becomes chill, when it becomes boring. This is right in the right line, you know.
Perfect Darkness, especially some of the lyrics I could even like relate to in a way, because some of them are just they really. I don't want to use the word hit me, but I guess that's the word I have to use.
They just you listen to it going, oh, that means something to me.
Yeah.
That person's actually talking in a way that I can understand.
The lyrics always mean something, and that's why I like the music that I've picked, because they always mean something in the lyrics. They're not like, I mean, most songs obviously have lyrics that make sense. It'd be pretty stupid if they didn't.
Yeah.
But having music like that just really connects with you is something that I really like.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that. And there are certain songs that you hear and they go, wow, what that person's written, that could be me that wrote that song. It can feel like an autobiographical thing. Have you got a particular favourite lyric in that song? Is that so? We'll kind of might as well do two songs at the same time. So Perfect Darkness is the one that came out in 2011. So that came out a wee bit before that. Is there a particular lyric in there that resonates with you?
There are a lot of lyrics that I can really relate to, but there's not really one specifically I can like pinpoint.
Yeah. Does the song tell a story in a way, or does it just paint different images in your head?
I don't know. It does paint a lot of images in my head. It gives me that post-apocalyptic feeling.
Yeah,
but I've not got anything specifically that I can say about it. That's
it's a vibe thing, isn't it? It just sits nice. So the Warm Shadow I find is quite hypnotic and relaxing.
Yeah,
and the guitar plays a sort of similar thing that's just quite a repetitive pattern of a few notes, and it just like makes you feel a bit dreamy and in a sort of trance, you know. And then I like the way that the vocal harmonies come in, and it's just like two voices layered on top of each other, and it's quite this is quite powerful. And then the drums come in later on as well. And I always think that's nice when a song builds and builds and builds, and it just layers on like and builds up the complexity.
And then when it reaches its climax, it goes slowly back down to such a calm melody.
Like you say, like a video game or a movie taking you on a journey. And there is a big link between this stuff, Fink, and like you say, video game soundtracks and movies and all that sort of thing. So Fink is, I hadn't heard of him before, right? So I didn't know who this guy was when you said, and I kind of thought, because I think I had a class or something, you were quickly like telling me about what your songs you need to go to your class. I mean, I thought it was a metal band. I just thought Fink must be a heavy metal band or something. But it's just this one guy. But he's got over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, so he must be quite popular. You know? Have you ever seen him live or anything like that at all?
I've seen videos of his performances, but I haven't obviously been there to see what he's done, because I only found out about this band not that long ago. So and I can't lie, it's the music they produce is just really good. I can't think of a song that I've heard by them that I've just went, this isn't it. Like every song they produce, I'm just like, this is good, it's unique, there's something really about it that I really like.
It's really careful, measured music as well. It's like stuff you need to just sit and think about, and like I think perfect studying music, you know. It's not like sing along, sing all the words back type. It's just peaceful, relaxing, and really good. So your other song, so Wye Oak is that's the band.
That's the band,
And Civilian is the name of the track. So did you encounter this one from The Walking Dead as well?
Yeah, it was in season 2, I believe. The reason why I like the song so much, because it fit the theme that The Walking Dead was going for, with the shot of the zombie walking alone in the field. It kind of, like, the music was just played so perfectly, and the music itself matches what was going on in the scene. Almost, it was talking about like the artist's like mother and stuff like that, and there was a hidden message that I don't know about, obviously, but there was some sort of message in the song that kind of connected, I suppose. And the way that the music slowly builds up and builds up, and then it reaches the climax near the end, and then slowly goes back down. I barely see songs like that at all. The thing is, you don't get so much music like that in the mainstream. Like, you have to search to find it, like what you've done, or find it by chance in TV and film. And film, games, and TV have so much good music in it that is obviously been chosen to fit the film. So the producers of the shows must go, right, what track am I going to get here? And chances are, if you like a film, you probably like the music that's in that film as well. And loads of great films have got amazing soundtracks and TV series as well. I like that as well. You're saying, like, the build up when the drums kick in about a minute and a half in, then it fades out. It's just lovely. Reminding me, people that like Florence and the Machine would probably like this kind of music, or people that like a band called First Aid Kit. It's like indie folk music, you know, and that's quite a nice, pleasant genre to listen to. What I found, I was just doing a Googling about these guys last night. So they're an American rock, like a rock duo. There are two artists. And it's a guy called Andy Stack and Jen Wasner, I think. They're probably not pronounced right, but they're the people that make the band. And they released 2 albums, and one of them became like their end of uni project. So they actually made the album for a uni project. A wee bit like if you're making, like, say, games development, like you're making a video game, but you actually end up using it for a school project. That's essentially what their album was. So their second album was, their albums were recorded in their university, like in the studio at the uni in America, and then they were still students at the time, and this album number 2 became like it's called like a senior project in America, or like a dissertation in the UK. So it's a wee bit like for your higher English portfolio or something, writing a novel that then gets published worldwide. I think that's awesome, personally. I find that incredible. They've stuck to something they love, and they did it, and people really liked it. So
and what I suppose another way of thinking about that is in music, they've taken this out actually with COVID as part of the course, but you used to have to do like a composition in music where you'd have to write a piece of music. So
they removed that.
Yeah, well, I think it's been removed as like you know how certain subjects have stuff removed with COVID to allow for the fact that the schools have been closed.
Yes,
it might be coming back. We still don't know, but
I hope so, because that sounds really interesting.
It's something you'd be good at. So you have to write your own piece of music as part of the award, and what they've essentially done is written an album and then published the album, and it was successful, but they've also used it for school, basically. So I imagine having that like a hit single that also becomes part of your school project. Very cool. These songs are ones that I would really recommend to go and listen to. And with everybody that's been on the podcast before, like Luke and Robbie and Mirren, I kind of recognised all of their songs a wee bit, but I'd never heard of these songs before. But they are honestly worth going and having a listen to, aren't they? Like, even if you just like put them on and just don't really listen to them, just appreciate them in the background because they're amazing.
They're really, I'd say white noise. I suppose they're really.
It is a bit like white noise. Yeah, it's just it's almost like mindfulness, you know, sitting just listening to it, and it really chills you out.
I found a version of Perfect Darkness without the lyrics.
Oh yeah,
and honestly, you know when a piece of music's written well. When with and without the lyrics, you understand the song.
That's such a thoughtful comment. That's like you sound like a music journalist saying that. No, it's very true. I know exactly what you mean. You still without any lyrics, you still get exactly the same atmosphere across, and that's really clever. Yeah, it's brilliant. So it's Fink, Perfect Darkness, Fink with Warm Shadow, and Wye Oak with Civilian. So that's the artist followed by the track. So see how you're saying that your dad had one of those on in the car. Yeah. Is he a fan of the band of Fink?
It's the same thing with me. He found it in The Walking Dead. I don't think he knows the band or anything. I think he just listened to the music.
Did he like Shazam it? You know the app Shazam where you can play it and it records it tells you what the song is without you knowing the name of it?
I don't think he uses that. I think he just found it on YouTube or something.
He just searched up music in The Walking Dead and then it came to
I have no idea how he found them, but I'm kind of glad he did find them.
There
was a song that I really wanted to include in this as well. It was called Noisy Sunday, but it was like the reason why I don't like the song as much as the other three is because there's no I can't really think of a reason why anybody should listen to it because it's just really depressing, I guess the word is.
Is it quite dark?
It gets better as the song ends. In fact, that's probably my favourite part is when it's getting slowly building up to the ending. But if you're wanting to listen to it just so you can have it in the background, I would not recommend it. It's one of those songs that you'd listen to in a TV show.
Is it to mirror the scene that's going on in the movie?
Yeah, it was. It was also in The Walking Dead.
Was it as well? Yeah. These guys must get some royalties from that. Yeah,
they must do because every time they include a licensed song, The Walking Dead, it's just perfect. It fits the theme.
Fits the theme ideal. Yeah. A lot of effort going in from the producers there as well to make that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So 3 really nice pieces of music. It's one that you just go and have a listen to it and appreciate it because this is a really unique set of songs as well that nobody else is suggesting anything like this. And it's also the kind of song that sounds better with the context of a scene of a film probably. So whereas with the one Luke chose in the last podcast, it was like a Metallica song. That would sound amazing live. I don't know if I'd want to listen to this live. I'd rather listen to it with the scene or with the music video or something like that because it's part of a story, you know.
For the part of my animated series, Perfect Darkness will be used as a survival montage as well because I feel like that fits the theme because it's not obviously they're struggling to get by, but they're not nearly dead. I suppose so. There's a bit of hope, but it's still pretty of a lesser tone. I suppose the word is. I think it's just the perfect song for something like that. I even spoke to Zingo about it, and I went, should I use this song here or there? And then I came up with the idea, why don't I add, specifically for this song, a survival montage? And he thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And because I gave him the song, and I was like, you should listen to this. And he said it was, okay. And I was like, for one, what's wrong with you? And two, I'm going to use it in the animated series, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
And we were kind of juggling ideas until I landed on that idea, and we both agreed on it, and we both think it was a really good idea. He will be in it as well, but his character won't be as big.
I can't wait to see this. Have you got a date in mind for when you're going to finish the project?
That is something that I have not thought about.
I suppose when you've got exams in school all the time. Yeah. Maybe that could be a summer holiday thing where you just hammer it all summer and then when you come back in S5
all day, all night, just go right through it.
Aye. Have you got ambitions for the future to do with that? Are you wanting to make a career out of something to do with that?
Game development is one of my passions. I can't imagine me not doing it. I suppose if I didn't do games development, I don't know what I'd be doing, honestly. I'd probably just be lying in my room staring at the ceiling.
Yeah. And you can study games development in this school. That must have been some buzz when you saw that on the timetable on the options. I was
so excited, honestly. I could not stop running around my room.
So in S1 and 2, you do ICT, don't you? And it's just is ICT and computing are separate, aren't they? So it's admin and business and computing, and then is games development is it a sub-genre of computing, or is it?
Yes. So in S2 during lockdown, we were given a task on Show My Homework to work on Scratch, which is a engine which we can use for games. It's not gonna lie, it's pretty bad.
Is that like that's like even I've heard of that. That's like the first sort of like.
That's like the first C for beginners. It's really good.
And
but
do you use coding basically to move?
It's not even coding. It's simplified down to blocks
to then move to get an animation to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like the most simple thing you can do to create.
I remember I was given a task, and the thing I've realised really quick is do not go overboard with the first thing you do.
Yeah.
I tried to make a 3D game in a 2D engine, which was what they used to do all the time in like 1993 with Doom.
Yeah.
That's how that game was 3D, like how that was possible. Just a really smart mathematician figured it out and they used it. That's not even a joke. That's the real story behind Doom. Just a smart mathematician found it out. And I tried replicating that. Worst mistake I've ever made. It did not go well.
Was this just during the lockdown?
This was during the lockdown. I was pretty tired that day, and I guess I nearly gave up. But when I found out that game development will be on the timetable, because my brother Matthew told me, and I saw the choices, I instantly picked game development because I was like, I didn't give this a good try. I instantly rushed in and just did not think about it. And in S3, when we were learning about game development, the media assets and the development process, it really got my brain thinking. I even went back to doing the 3D project, and I got so far with it. I even managed to get a 3D like space and all that with weapons.
You surpassed the whole task basically.
It took
give it a life of its own.
It took a long time, but I'm glad I did it. And unfortunately, I lost the project.
No, that was the last thing I was going to ask you that. So is it not saved anywhere? Is it done?
I lost it because I think I messed up with coding and it removed the actual like 3D area.
That sounds like a cheesy like plot from a movie.
It
when the
really
guy's working
does.
on the computer, the steam's coming out his ears and it crashes. Yeah.
I was so distraught when I found out, and when I found out I didn't save a copy, I was livid. I guess. The word
always save as you go.
I wish I did that. I've done that now with another one that's similar, but
so if you get loads of projects going, so you've got kind of several different.
I've only finished 2 of like the 22 I've got.
Things. Yeah.
When I mean finished, I mean like fully done. Everything else is just kind of left to the sidelines if I'm like really bored. And they're both really similar games. They're actually sequels to each other, which is funny. The 2 games I completed were sequels from each other.
That's class. And have you got aspirations to like to pursue that as a career? How would that work then? Is there like a course you can study in like games development, or would you do software engineering, or how does it work?
Mr. McInnes and I looked at the choices, and I said, is game development in the college courses? Unfortunately, when he checked, it was the ones that were like the game development course that I've already sat through and completed now.
Yeah.
And I can confidently say I'm probably going to get there. I don't want to sound egotistical saying that, I'll be honest.
But you've already, regardless, you've already done that course. Is there another level you can go up in that at school level, or would you then have to look at college?
We would have to look at college courses,
and like doing a full, like working towards a degree in that sort of field. Yeah. I will see the thing back to all this. Now, if you find a passion in life, it's the best feeling in the world. Like
you find something you can really focus on and give your all.
And then if you're doing a job in that field, it would never feel like you're ever doing a day of work. You know, and I suppose music's like that to a certain extent as well. If you get something you're really into at your age, it's such a buzz because there's loads of people go through their school life think, this is a bit boring, this is boring. But if you can find one thing you're passionate about, like you've done, it's
if you find something that you thought you were going to enjoy and you don't, then that's fine. You can always find something new.
Exactly, and you can always, passions change, people change, and I'm sure over the last 4 years at this school, you've changed as you meet new people and all that sort of thing. But any advice for anybody in S1 starting at Trinity High School next year? What would you say? I mean, obviously you've got Emma who's just done S1. What would you say to somebody in a sentence?
I'd say just if you find something that you're really good at, pick the subjects that relate to it and stick to it, because you're never going to get that opportunity again. And always hang around with the people you like, not the people you have to hang around with, you know.
Yeah.
See, that's probably the worst thing you can do. If you want to hang about with somebody that you can genuinely rely on, like Zingwa, me and Zingwa have been friends for years.
Yeah.
Because I can come with him and have like a problem, and I can go to him and he can listen, vice versa, because we're that connected. But if you're hanging around with people that you don't
you actually
necessarily
want to spend time
Yeah,
with, but you're doing it because you want to feel cool or whatever.
Yeah.
See, what you've just said there is two of the most important things. Try and find something at this skill you're passionate about. Pick the subjects you're good at as well. Like if you're good at something, pursue that, and then hang out with people that you actually enjoy the company of, and you'll have a great experience at this school. I'll let you go off and finish your game, and I cannot wait to play that. You should have like a launch evening, and we can all play. What is it for a particular? Like I've always wondered this. This is probably a stupid question. Can you play it on any device? Or is it a PC?
It's
game only?
actually funny that you mentioned that. You'd have to like package it for those specific things. It's going to be PC only for now because getting onto console is just ridiculous. You need a publisher and everything.
Yeah.
And I do not like the idea of having a publisher because you can't see publishers. There's a publisher that I really like called Devolver Digital. They will just publish your game. They don't do anything. They don't interfere. Like companies like Activision are horrible for that. People really want to make these games, and that's why a group of people that worked at Infinity Ward that made the Call of Duty series at the start jumped ship because they weren't able to do with weren't able to. So I'm starting my words here.
It's the heat, Robbie.
it's definitely the heat.
Aye.
They weren't able to do what they wanted, so they left and started a new company, and they went with EA and they created the Titanfall series and then eventually made Apex Legends, which I have a lot to say about that game. That game is frustrating, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I've played worse. And I feel like if they just do the right thing, I'll enjoy it. But it's one of those games I kind of sit down and relax with. That's The Last of Us 100%.
So the publishers take quite a lot of control over the
Most
developer?
of them do. That's why Devolver Digital, if I was to ever get a publisher, I would at least attempt to go with them because you could create your game, they would just publish it
as is.
So like it's a really good opportunity as well.
It sounds a bit like musical artists that make music and then a record label ends up directing the direction they go in, and then it doesn't become your game anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's the same.
That's the worst feeling in the world. That's why Fink and all that are really small because they do their own music.
They just produce it themselves. The guy makes his own. I think they actually have their own record label, I'm pretty sure.
I believe they do,
so they release stuff. Basically, they've got sole control over it, and that means that they're only producing music they actually want to. And so the music you've chosen there, I really, really like it. I'm going to put it on when I go home, actually, just have it and just help me chill out, it's great. Anyway, we'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time, Robbie.
No problem.
Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode. Cheers, Robbie. Bye.
See you later.